is all alone. He's out there almost a 16th of a mile away from the rest of the horses. Secretariat is in a position that is impossible to catch. He's into the stretch. Secretariat leads his field by 18 lengths. And now Price of Prince is taken second, and My Gallant has moved back to third. They're in the stretch. Secretariat has opened a 22-length lead. He is going to be the Triple Crown winner. Here comes Secretariat to the wire. An unbelievable, an amazing performance. He hits the finish 25 lengths in front. An amazing, unbelievable performance by this miracle horse. And look at Mr. Sweetie.
Gallant wave of the hat by Turcotte, and he certainly should be proud of what he and his horse did today, Jack. My goodness, never in my dreams did I think it would be a race of that kind. And all our talk about the last quarter of a mile.
It was love at first sight and love at first ride. He was beautiful. He was so gentle. He was so intelligent. I never seen anything like him. It's the horse God built. And I get a little emotional when I talk about him. I love him very much, and he's not here. Besides my family, he's my first love.
Somebody big just died. Ron Turcotte, the Hall of Fame jockey who rode Secretariat to the 1973 Triple Crown, is dead at 84 years old. And my friend Mike North is here to help eulogize him. Mike, how you doing, my friend?
Wow. I mean, you know, I can tell you I was home on leave in the service in 1973. I went to a bowling alley with my buddies that we hung out on Chicago's north side called Lambert's. I wanted to watch the Kentucky Derby, then wanted to watch not the Kentucky Derby, the Belmont. And I've never seen nothing like it in my life. I mean, there was like 20 of us in the place, 20 people, and the whole place was silent after he was done running, after that horse did what he did, winning by 31 lengths. So two other people that went by 31 lengths or more, it's our great people at Cumberland Chapels. Boy, I'll tell you what. Yeah, you know, they get it done, 8300 West Lawrence Avenue. They're heads and tails better than anybody else. Believe me, folks, when I tell you this, they're world famous. They've been serving families with dignity and grace forever, for decades. They make things right. They make things affordable. They don't try to gouge you. They don't try to take advantage. There's our testimonials, our recent testimonials. You know, it's just sad to see, but, you know, it's one of the things that happens. And like I always say, it's one of the more expensive things you'll ever do in your life, as far as planning a funeral. You don't want it too expensive, and that's why Cumberland Chapels has all sorts of packages. They have cremations. You can get different types of caskets and stuff like that. It's got plenty of parking, plenty of chapel space. They're not one of these places where you're cramped and there's 35 people standing at the back, you know, unless it's a big crowd. And then you can only have enough seats, you know. So check them out, 8300 West Lawrence Avenue. And then maybe stop by Pennyville Station. All right, 112 Main Street in Park Ridge, Illinois. Not far from Cumberland Chapels, only a few miles away. Great food, great bar scene, outstanding. Tony Antonacci, it's his place, does a great job. His father, Tino Antonacci, the ambassador of restaurants on Chicago's north side and northwest side in the suburbs. Jesse Rogers, who I just had dinner with last week. We were talking about the show. As a matter of fact, I had dinner, me and B, with him and his wife, Tracy, out at their place. And they love the show and they watch it. And they were trying to tell me, is it an everyday thing now? I said, it seems like it's an everyday
Basically,
thing.
We slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, we slowed down a little bit. Joe's trying to push. Joe tries to push. You know, I'll get a Dakota out of nowhere, and you know, and I already have my mind made up. But Joe has changed my mind a couple times before. But just to tell you guys, you know, our sponsors are very dear to us, and I want to make sure that it's somebody that just died that we're gonna make big, or somebody that is big that just died that's big enough to make the show. Now, that don't mean that these people aren't big people. They just don't make the cut sometimes. There were three notables. It's important I tell our sponsors this too, because sometimes you make the cut, sometimes you don't. Now, Joe did suggest, and he's a famous social judge, but he was not well known. It's just it circles. But Joe is always open. Say, hey, what do you think about Judge Frank Caprio? And I read about him. I took it into consideration, but then I started saying, no, not the Supreme Court judge, not Judge Wapner, not Judge Wapner, not Judge Mathis, not a TV judge. That's sad.
Judy.
That's sad to say. You know, Rusty the bailiff from Judge Wapner's show got a better chance of making it somebody big just died than a bailiff in a regular courtroom or a bailiff that works for the Supreme Court because it's got a little celebrity in it. But he was a great man. The one I almost did, but he faded, but he did some wonderful work. But I said, I'll give him his due. Terrence Stamp, the actor, Terrence Stamp. He was in a lot of early Westerns. He was in some Clint Eastwood stuff.
Superman.
He was on Superman as one of the evil arch villains. Couldn't make the cut. He hadn't done something for a while. I just said, and he was 87. I said, well, that one was the one I wrote on. And then
you're close.
I was very close with that one. Danielle Spencer from What's Happening. Okay. Had she done anything after that? Okay. Instead of being the childhood star of a 1970s sitcom, she probably got her. These people all got their just due from the rest. Okay. Then I noticed today that Ron Turcotte, or yesterday, Ron Turcotte died. And I said, or the other day, I said, Joe. And Joe probably said Ron Turcotte. And he looked him up and then he said, okay, all right. And then we just lost Jerry Adler, who's going to be an honorable mention tonight. Heck of an actor. He stayed active. There he is. We'll do a little bit on him a little bit later. He played Hesh on The Sopranos. And if they were going to pick a guy to play a Jewish type money making, record making, he made some records. He owned a record company. It was him. So we'll get to those guys and get to him in a little bit later on. But the big one to me is Ron Turcotte, because people think Turcotte just wrote Secretariat. Well, he didn't just write Secretariat. I mean, he was born July 22nd, 1941, died August 22nd, 2025, Canadian thoroughbred racehorse jockey, best known as the writer of Secretariat, you think? Winner of the U.S. Triple Crown, the first one in 25 years in 1970. Look at Big Red. And, I think what happened with Ron Turcotte, and there's Penny Chenery, who was his owner, and there's the most famous picture, one of the top, the one with Ali standing over Liston, and that one there where he turns around and can't believe how far back everybody is with Queen Elizabeth. He had some tough breaks at the end. He began as a hot walker for E.P. Taylor's Winfield's Farm in 1960, but he was soon wearing the silks. His first victory was with Northern Dancer, another great horse. So his Northern Dancer had its first victory with Ron Turcotte on the back, because people always look at Ron Turcotte as a guy that just wrote Secretariat. No, sir. No, sir. In 1972, he rode Riva Ridge to victory in the Kentucky Derby and Belmont Stakes, okay? He became internationally famous in 1973 when he rode Secretariat, Big Red, one of my 4 favorite athletes of all time. Look at this. This is sad what he does to these horses. I don't know if they ever had any self-esteem again. These people thought they were going to compete. They were worried
about the water.
They were worried about him the last half mile. They said, maybe they'll catch him the last. He had the size. His horse's heart was the size of 2. He took in more oxygen. He was a freak horse than any horse who ever raced. So that gave him an advantage. Plus, he was huge. And you know who had to steer him? That's why jockeys don't get enough credit. This horse weighs over 2,000 pounds. I don't know how. Let me just check how much does Secretariat weigh? Okay, let's see what it says here. He weighed 1,175 pounds. Okay.
Yeah, that's a big
The
machine.
guy steering him, the guy riding him, was 5'1", 115 pounds.
Yeah, it's a small man.
Think about it. Think about it. And they loved each other. And like he says, and it's not hard for me to believe. I've had, this is my third dog. I've had 3 dogs. He said outside of his family, he loved Secretariat as his first love. I'm here to tell you I love my dogs better than I love some members of my family. That's just the way it is.
Sure.
That's just the way it is. I mean, I don't see a lot of, I see my immediate family, but there's members of your family you see maybe once every 2 years or once a year. And you know what? Not counting my brothers and stuff, but I mean, my dogs are with me every day. And this horse was with them every day. And they became like this. And it's a true love story. It really is. Because he wasn't known that well after winning a Preakness and a Belmont or a Kentucky Derby with Riva Ridge. Okay. But the next year, he rattles off this Triple Crown, which was unbelievable. The famous picture of him looking over his shoulder, unbelievable. That's how far back he was. He was the first jockey to win back-to-back Kentucky Derbies since Joe's buddy, Jimmy Winkfield, back in 1902. You remember
My buddy.
Jimmy.
Oh, yeah.
And the first jockey to ever have won 5 of 6 consecutive Triple Crown races, matched in 2015 only by Victor Espinoza. His career ended tragically on July 13th, 1978, when he fell from a horse, flag of late golf, during the 8th race at Belmont. He suffered injuries that made him a paraplegic. Now, that happened to Willie Shoemaker, too, who's one of the greatest jockeys who ever lived. Fell off a horse. That's when.
Yeah,
that's it. When you're going that fast and you fall off a horse. But I believe Willie Shoemaker did not fall off a horse. I believe he got in a car accident. Let me check it out. Willie Shoemaker, did he get paralyzed in a car accident? I love the black box. Yes, Willie Shoemaker became paralyzed after a car accident in 1991. So he was retired long after that. He was left a quadriplegic and spent the rest of his life in a wheelchair. So he didn't even get hurt on a horse. He got hurt in a car accident. It went down a hill. I remember he was living out in California, but he's probably, me growing up, the greatest jockey who ever lived. But now you got guys like Turcotte, Espinoza. I mean, you have some great jockey, Lafitte Pincay. Lafitte Pincay, who famously said, "For breakfast, I had half a peanut." Okay, because they had to. I said, "Man, that's a tough gig." Turcotte was 130 pounds before he became a jockey. And then he had to struggle to keep it at 110 pounds for the rest of his life. I remember talking to Dick Duchessois, the great owner who's gone now from Arlington Racetrack, who said that they did everything from throw up before races.
Oh, sure.
To going into steam baths, doing whatever they could, because if they didn't have their weight, they weren't making their money. And look at that. I mean, look how little he is upon that huge
machine of a horse. Yeah.
Just a big horse. In 2015, a statue of Secretariat and Turcotte crossing the finish line at Belmont was unveiled in Turcotte's hometown of Grand Falls, New Mexico. He was inducted into the National Museum of Racing Hall of Fame in 1979. He became the first recipient of the Avelino Gomez Memorial Award, given annually to the jockey who was Canadian-born, Canadian-raised, or a regular in the country who has made significant contributions.
Here's that statue, Mike.
Wonderful statue. Just stunning at the Belmont there. Here's his major racing wins. Breeders' Stakes 1962. The Toronto Autumn Cup 63, so he was in Canada most of that time. The Kentucky Oaks in 1965. Got a lot more here. He won the Palm Beach Handicap 66, 67, 69, and 70, so he was getting good mounts. I mean, Ron Turcotte, all he had to do on Secretariat, and this is what he has said, is stay on the horse.
Yeah.
Secretariat did all the work. He didn't have to do anything. He said he was a gentle horse. And Penny Chenery said Ron Turcotte stuck to the game plan. And Ron Turcotte famously later said, she's just talking in a nice way. The only people, or the only two that had a plan, were me and Secretariat. Secretariat knew what he had to do. He would walk into the stalls. I walk into the paddock and sneer at the other horses. He was a gentle horse. He was a good horse, but like Cigar, he would stare the other horses down. These horses knew, he knew, I got to come in first. There's no way that he didn't know that. In 2010, the movie Secretariat, the role of Turcotte as Secretary's jockey, went to Otto Thornworth, a real-life jockey himself. If you haven't seen the movie Secretariat, it's outstanding.
It's incredible. It's an incredible movie.
It's like an underrated sports movie, folks. And I'll give you another one, Seabiscuit. Horse racing movies are great, but I would say Secretariat, people love Seabiscuit. They're both true stories, and they're both awesome.
Both great movies.
They're both great movies. Horse racing movies are awesome if they're done right. They really are. And those two were done right. Turcotte was hospitalized in 2015 when he got in a car accident. The van he was driving flipped after hitting a snowbank. Turcotte and a friend were both injured in the accident. Turcotte sustained fracture to both legs, but he probably didn't feel it. Broke his legs, didn't feel anything. His friend did. He suffered minor injuries, so they were very fortunate. He was 84 when he passed away. There's another thing out by the National Film Board of Canada, a documentary filming on Turcotte's life and career. Secretariat's jockey Ron Turcotte. I might have to watch that. Jockeys don't get nearly the credit they deserve.
None. It's unfortunate.
They have to do something. I mean, the Cubs won again today. You'll hear about all 9 players. The only time you hear about jockeys is when they win or when they're announced. So that's why Bill Hartack, Willie Shoemaker, Stevie Coffin, Ron Turcotte, Lafitte Pincay, and much, much more. There's so many great jockeys that never win, that just come close, and you never hear of them. He won the Kentucky Derby 72 and 73. So he wasn't on Secretariat for the first one.
Mm-hmm.
He was on Riva Ridge. He won the Preakness 65 and 73. He won the Belmont 72 and 73. He won the Triple Crown in 1973. He's the leading jockey. He was a leading jockey at Woodbine, where he got his start in 62 and 63. He was Canada's Racing Man of the Year in 1978. I don't know how you cannot be Canada's Racing Man of the Year in 1973, winning the Triple Crown. Maybe
you have to.
Maybe because you weren't in Canada when you did it. Maybe that's how they do it. But that's his greatest year. He made the New Brunswick Sports Hall of Fame in 1973 because of that. So that's sort of mysterious. I don't know what the exact rules are when it comes to that. But this guy here kept active. He never seemed down about his accident.
No.
Seemed pretty matter of fact. Lived to be 84. He had 4 children. Okay. His career wins. Are you ready? I'm not saying he put time in, but he put time in. He won in his career 3,032 races. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, 3,032 races, career wins. It says it right here. I had to look at it twice, for God's sake. So he made millions of dollars. Let's see how much he was worth. What was jockey Ron Turcotte's money when he died? How much was he worth?
Oh, I'm sure it was quite a bit.
It says here $28 million.
Damn.
He made $28 million and he earned it, man. That's some hard ass riding through rainstorms, riding through mud, riding through hot suns, training every day, keeping your weight down. I mean, they are some of the most unsung great athletes. I mean, how many people 100 times? He weighs, now Joe knows my wife, BB. BB's tall and slender.
Yes.
Okay. She's about, I'm not going to say her weight. I'll say this. He weighed less than her. Okay. And she was
Jeez.
110. She's not much more than that, but she's like 5'9", 5'10", my wife.
Well, you posted a couple weeks ago when you and BB went to go see a concert in Vegas.
Yep.
For Paul Anka. And what was it, 93 or something?
Yeah. Yes.
And I commented, I said, BB looks exactly the same.
Yeah. But you didn't say nothing about me. I noticed that. I said, I kept waiting. I go, Mike doesn't look exactly the same. You also said, and people, she's been mistaken in public numerous times for Wendy Malick. Look up Wendy Malick, Malick. Now, Joe was right. She's been in her younger days.
Oh, dang. I could see that.
Oh, yeah. Let's take a look at Wendy Malick right here. She was on, she's been on a couple, she was on Dream On. She's been on a couple other shows, Designing Women and stuff like that. So Joe will get it up there in a minute. But she's also been mistaken, my wife, when she was younger, for Natalie Wood. So, I mean, there she is. Now, that's an older picture of Wendy. BB would never be, because her hair is not gray. But if you find a young picture of Wendy Malick, like 1990, you'll see the difference there. But she's got the same type of facial structure. They were about the same size and stuff like that. But the Secretariat movie, if you haven't seen it, it's one of the best movies that you'll ever see when it comes to horse racing. And Penny Chenery, she just let it. She was an owner that just stayed out of it. Just do your thing. There's some owners that get in the way. Plus, Turcotte had strong ties. There's some great Bob Baffert, of course, we know about him, and other people. D. Wayne Lucas, Lucien Picard is one of the great horse racing trainers of all time, and he got that. I got all these races here. It's like 3,000 races full of stuff. $28 million as a jockey. And you got to love what you do to be a jockey. And they race in all kinds of weather. Some of them, like when it gets winter, they go on out to, they go west. Just like when the Hawthorne races are over, my buddy Jimmy Miller tells me they go out to Louisiana. They go out to Florida. They go out to different places. So Ron Turcotte is a legend.
Absolutely.
He loved the racing business. And, there's not a whole lot of scandal behind him. There's not a whole lot of, and there wasn't a whole lot of information. In fact, I think this is the first time Joe, who does a tremendous job with highlights and stuff, he got back to me a couple days ago. He goes, you know what? There's not a whole lot on him. Because once again, and you can not have done something for a long time, but if you did something like wonderful and great, it doesn't matter. And that's what this guy did. All class, did the horse racing people wonderful. There's that statue of that horse, who I consider one of the 4 best athletes I've ever seen. Now, people tell me, well, Mike, animals can't be athletes. That's BS. Okay, but a lot of people just want to keep it to the human beings. Okay, so you got a Jordan. Okay, you got, to me, an Edwin Moses, who was great. You got Brady. You got all these guys. But I'm sorry, Brady winning the Super Bowl 60-0 is what Secretariat did in that Belmont.
Yeah,
winning by 31 lengths. You can win a race by 2 lengths, by 3 lengths, by a nose. When you do something like that nobody's ever done, you're a superstar, and you're bigger than the damn industry you're in. I mean, Brady is like part of when you think of the NFL and you think of the great players of the past. He's the first guy that comes up. Period.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to say, Michael Vick, or you're not going to say Cam Newton, or you're not going to say Stafford, or you won't even say Walter Payton.
No, not anymore.
No, because Brady was heads and tails above everybody else. That's how this horse is. Heads and tails above everybody else. And that's why a guy that did this in 1973, okay, gets honored. When we were just talking about a guy that did a movie back in the 70s, Superman, doesn't get honored because it was too huge. And besides, how many more Superman movies are there going to be? Okay.
A lot more after the new one did so well, I'm sure.
Yes, the new one did well.
And I just watched it last night. It was pretty good, actually.
And I watched the one with Christopher Reeve about 3 weeks ago. Me and my wife, literally. And there's a guy that got paralyzed on a horse as we're talking about Superman.
Yeah, geez, that's really
jumping and over a hedge. He got paralyzed. But me and my wife, because we had watched the old Superman series, okay, they got him on wires.
Yeah.
When we saw the first Superman, we were stunned how great it was. And I've seen Superman 1 and Superman 2. I don't go to see Superman 15 with the new guys, Henry Cavill and some of these other guys. Some of them look like they're emaciated. They don't even look that big, That's why Michael Keaton, for instance, if you see the original Batman, okay, and the original Superman, they didn't have the suits that made you look muscular. Now you go see a Batman movie or a Superman movie, they're built because the suits are different now. Okay?
Well, that's what I like about the new movie is they kind of went back to that, Mike.
Did they finally go back to where he looks normal, like Clark Kent, and that could do it, right? That's great. Because some of them were making Batman, for instance. Look at Michael Keaton and then look at the latest Batman. Okay, they're huge. And Michael Keaton was not a cut guy. In fact, people thought he wouldn't make it. So, I digress, but I'm just trying to say that things change and stuff like that. But this guy was a super horse. There'll never be another horse like Secretariat. And the guy that got to ride him, so is that the new one, or is that?
Yes, that's the new one.
He's buffed on his own. He's sort of buffed on his own.
Yeah, at least the suit's not like that, though.
Right, exactly. I don't know if I like the new S. What'd they do with the S? Why they mess with everything? Huh? I don't know why they. That's not the original S,
No, they changed it. Yeah.
Why are they changing everything? They got to change something. Huh? Tradition is tradition. Superman. I guess they talked him into getting a new outfit. What can I tell you?
Sure.
So Ron Turcotte,
legend
on behalf of Joe and I, and everybody, the Turcotte family. Rest in peace. Okay, that's right. And now we have a guy who came over the wires today.
Jerry Adler.
Jerry Adler died, and Joe's going, man. And you know what? Was he big enough? Maybe, but he's surely good enough to get an honorable mention like we gave everybody else today, because Jerry Adler was one of the best. He really was. And he played Hesh on The Sopranos, okay? And The Sopranos came out in the 90s. So, he dies today at 96. And let me get him up here now. Jerry Adler. He was in his 60s here.
Yeah.
Maybe late 60s here when he did The Sopranos. A lot of them have died now. The series is the greatest series I ever saw on TV. He was born in Brooklyn, 1929. He died August 23rd. Yes, sir. Right around the corner here, 2025. He started out working in theater and stuff like that. He was born, like I said, in 1929. He was an actor, a director, and a producer. his years active, 1950 to 2019. What was always good to see was he never really got typecast as Hesh. In fact, I went to see, I'm sure you're what. Sometimes we watch a chick flick. My wife likes him. I like him.
Sure.
He was in a movie In Her Shoes with Shirley MacLaine and Cameron Diaz. He plays a companion type interest to Shirley MacLaine, who plays the grandmother. Yeah, he never, and I did say, hey, I did say, hey, there's Hesh. You know what I mean? But there is no doubt that this guy made his bones after being in so many movies and stuff like that. He was on the Curb Your Enthusiasm. He was on The Sopranos. Listen to this, had an 8-year run on The Sopranos. He was in Northern Exposure, Mad About You, a lot of TV shows that he did. So he did very well for himself, and we wanted to give him his just due because it's Hesh.
Oh, yeah.
He was outstanding. And him and when he and Tony Soprano, James Gandolfini did a scene together, there was always a little bit of a tenseness, because Hesh knew his father, so Tony sort of carried him. But then I remember when Uncle Junior tried to charge him a tax, it was embarrassing to Tony. He made his mark as Hesh. There's no doubt about it. There's plenty of people that didn't even know who the guy was before then, no matter how many credits you get. You get that, and I know this for a fact, you get that one big shot, that 2 big shot maybe at the most, and you take it, and that's what ended up happening.
It's one of the best TV shows of all time, Mike.
I'd put it number 1, Joe.
It's for me, it's number 1.
Yeah, because I can get up tomorrow and decide I want to watch the whole series and sit through 8 or 9 shows. I have sat literally, and I think people have binged on like 15, 20 shows in one day, watching The Sopranos. And
It's so good.
HBO every year, when it's the anniversary of the 25th year, they have a Sopranos marathon. They go like this. And they had I got to be honest with you. The thing I liked about Tony Soprano is that his wife, Hesh wasn't there when I met all the Sopranos cast in New York. He hadn't been added to the show. In fact, Janice Turturro, so she was added the second year. We were there the second year I've told the story. We didn't know who she was. I go, who is this? I tell Steve Dahl. Me and Steve Dahl were sent by, they took 2 people from Chicago, 2 from New York, 2 from Cleveland, disc jockey, so then they could promote the show because they weren't sure it was going to make it in its second year. And I'll never forget her. I go, we had saw the debut, the second year premiere at HBO. They have a big theater, and we met the cast. And she said, hi, how are you? I didn't know she was John Turturro's sister. I didn't know who she was. She wasn't in the first one. And I told Steve Dahl, I go, this woman is talking her ears off. Who is this woman? And then I find out she plays Janice. And to this day, I go, why didn't I talk to her more? I mean, she shot Richie, but there she is. I loved her. She talked to us for about 15, 20 minutes. Nobody knew who she was. We thought she was just a disc jockey or a host or something. I didn't know she was there. And
she was great. She was crazy, the character. Great job.
A little down when she shot Richie. I liked Richie.
I know.
Richie was like the evil guy that Tony needed on that show. He was a little bit out of his mind. He ran over.
A little bit.
Yeah, he was out of his mind, I mean. But she shot him. I always thought he should have had a spinoff. The Richie Aprile.
I'm surprised they haven't done anything new besides the prequel.
Yeah. And the prequel was the one with the kid, Gandolfini.
It wasn't bad. I liked it. It was okay.
It's like you see Bob Crane in Hogan's Heroes and you're like, wow. But then you see him in Theater in the Round in Scottsdale. It just doesn't work. You know what I mean?
Right.
You want him to walk out with the leather jacket and the cap. You want him to chew out Clink. But you're watching him in some movie. There he is, our tradition like no other. He's our good luck charm ever since Jimmy Irsay, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, to Hesh, that's right. To our guy, the great Jerry Adler. Yeah, I can't get to. Give me mine now. Come on, I'm waiting for it. It's a tradition. There we are. By the way, if you get a chance to go to North to North, check out my walk with Frank today from the bar stool. Check that out. Also got some other stuff up there, including this great thing. We got a lot of stuff going on North to North. But I'll tell you what, tonight was a 2-for-1. Yeah, we take care of the sponsors. I've given them a break lately. I could have snuck in Terrence Stamp. I got pity. They just got hit with 15 deaths in 2 months.
They had a hell of a run going.
They had a run going, and I'm doing my best. But if I thought Terrence Stamp was worthy, Tino and my folks, the Lupos, and everybody would say, fine. They've been with us for like 3 years now, folks.
Wow.
Who are the greatest sponsors
The best.
you'll ever have? Cumberland Chapels and Pennyville Station, Tony Antonacci. We love you guys like no other. Believe me when I tell you this. Podcast advertising people, sometimes they come and go, but I have a history with both of them. Now we have a history with this. I've always been proud of the work I've done at Basta Pasta with Tino, and I'm proud of this show as much as any show I've ever done. Joe likes it. Joe likes it,
man.
Joe loves this. I'm not going to ask him what job he loves better, but he's got to work a lot longer on this job over there, right? And Joe went to school, went to Columbia, folks. He's no fly-by-nighter. He's got the degree in the whole ball of wax.
That's right.
He knows what he's doing, as you can see. I'm very blessed. We're very blessed. We're very blessed to have him. We really are. And Aldo at the beginning too. Aldo's back again.
The barkeeper
Make
himself.
sure the bar room. Oh, by the way, Aldo Gandia his daughter's having another grandkid.
Oh, no kidding. Congrats, Aldo.
It's going to be a boy, from what he said today on Twitter. So congratulations to the podfather, if you will, Aldo Gandia, the godfather of pods. Okay, we appreciate everybody tuning in.
Subscribe to the bar room, folks.
Yeah, and check out all our platforms.
Football season's about
all sorts of beer
crazy
stuff. You got Coach Gabriel coming up. You got Johnny Buffone. You got I better not forget Vinny Parisi. He'll be at my door. Right. You got Joe. You got so many different people. I know I'll forget some people, so just check out the bar room. Check our roster, okay? We appreciate it very much. And to the families of course, Ron Turcotte and, of course, Jerry Adler, great joy you brought to everybody. And that's what's forgotten sometime in death. I don't forget, neither is Joe. Good night, everybody.
Good night.